Welcome to the Engineering Emotions and Energy Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Wink. Today's episode is brought to you by Emotions Engineering, bringing purpose and passion to the lives of tech workers everywhere. So on today's episode, I'm going to be sharing very important one key piece of information that's likely been keeping you from having the career you want. Frankly, probably anything that you've been trying to get out of life. Could be the relationships you want, could be the type of place to live, could be having the friends you want to have in your life, could be the body you want to have, could be the proper health. This one thing, when you accept it, everything else becomes possible. Without it, everything is practically impossible. And it really is all about believing what is true and what is possible and what your part is it. So the one thing that you can change that will dramatically increase your career prospects, whether that's just getting started in a career, or it's you're already in a career and you want to grow it, or you're at a career dead end and you want to change it, whatever it is, this one thing will make the difference, because sometimes it's a small difference that makes all the difference. And this one thing is a single word. It's responsibility. And I like to say it similar to how Sadhguru, who's a fantastic yoga teacher, does a great program called Inner Engineering, which, as an engineer, I love engineering. And then coming from a place where I used to think I didn't have what was in me to be fulfilled, it's like, all right, let's engineer on the inside. And what's funny is that you go through the program and you realize there's nothing really to transform. Everything you have is really there. It's more of an uncovering, kind of like the sun on a cloudy day. You don't have to create the sun. The sun's there. The clouds just need to move. So responsibility is that no matter what is happening in life at this very instant, you have responsibility, meaning that everything this moment prior all went into creating this very moment right now. So right now, the fact that I'm talking to you, the fact that you're listening to me, the fact that I'm also on a live webcam, all has to do with every single choice, every single action that I have taken up until this point, and also every single action you have taken. Every decision, every thought, every attitude, every belief has gotten both you and me to this point right here. And if we don't like what's going on right now in this very moment, we have the responsibility to change it by modifying our attitudes, our actions, or our beliefs. Shit. That sucks. It's all on me. Bad news. Or wait, maybe this is the best news. Because if everything right now is your fault, that means the ability to completely change it is also up to you, and you don't have to sit around waiting for someone else. It's not to say that other people don't do stuff to us that really sucks or really impacts us. Like, it's 100% fact that if you're driving along and someone rear ends you, they rear-ended you. That doesn't mean that they're not possibly legally, financially responsible, right? I would still say, you need to call the police, call the police. You need to call your insurance company, call your insurance company. Yet you could let that completely ruin your entire day that you got rear-ended. It could even ruin your entire week. Completely retelling the story of how you got rear-ended and that caused you to be late, and because you were late, you didn't get the job, and because you didn't get the job, you don't have enough money, and because you don't have enough money, you're never going to be good enough, on and on and on and on. Or you can see, well, wait, why was I driving at that particular time? Was it because I was running late? Do I always run late? Was I in a car that maybe isn't as safe as it could be? Did I maybe not even need to drive at all? Is there an alternate way? Could I have taken a helicopter or public transportation? We all have an infinite number of choices that go into how we get to this exact moment right here, right now. And even though we can't go back and change what we did, we can change what we do going forward. The responsibility. So instead of making the story worse and worse, we have the ability to make it the story we want, that, oh, wow, I got rear-ended. What all led up to that? Going forward, what's the lesson to be learned? Because there really is nothing wrong that happens. There's just lessons that can be learned. And if we learn those lessons, then our life is going to improve and cycle up and up into the emotions and the feelings we want to have, which is feelings of gratitude, feelings of passion, feelings of freedom, feelings of love, right? So if we see that and realize, like, wow, that sucks for that other person. They ran into me. Like, they're going to have a whole heck of a lot of headache. And no matter how bad maybe it turned out, it could have been worse. And going forward, what is the lesson to learn? Is it that I need to be better with my time management? Is it that I need to be paying more attention, more awareness? Because maybe if I'd been paying more attention, maybe I could have avoided the person even though they were behind me, right? Like, was there space in front of me? I could have moved up, or could I have gone to the left or the right? Is there something I could have done? And just, can I change my attitude? Is this something that, does it have to define me? Does it have to be something that I view as being really hard, very challenging? Or can I view it as something that, hey, I learned it, I survived it, and I'm going to thrive because of it, because I learned how to take it better. And something that other people complain about is something that I can be grateful with. And I'm not going to say this is easy, because trust me, I continue to learn this lesson over and over again. Just last week, I was having immense challenges with a coworker who had just gotten put on a program that I had been on for months. I was like, I know what to do. I know how to handle this. I'm starting to get in good rapport, good rhythm with other people, right? And then now this guy comes in and he starts asking a lot of questions, saying, here's how we should do things. And we're like not even speaking the same language, even though we're technically speaking English. And I was really, really down. I was like, this guy should not be here. And this is reminding me of a past time when someone like this I worked with, and I was so miserable. And I was starting to tell that story of, this is just like that. And I always like to tell other people, and I tell other people because I know I'm telling myself, that only same is the same. If it's not the same, it's not the same. So asking myself, hey, is this situation 100% down to every little teeny detail the same as then? Absolutely not. The people are different. Timing's different. I'm different. Okay, so if it's not the same, if it's different, can it go differently? 100%. And that's when I started asking, what can I do differently? How can I use my responsibility to have the situation be what I want? And I'm going to tell you, because I tell myself and I tell a lot of other people, the biggest thing that we often are not taught well enough in school, the better we do in school, and the better we do in a lot of things, sometimes we start to think we don't need this very important thing. And that's help from others, asking help from others. So I started reaching out for help. I reached out to my manager for help. Even though he was on vacation, he said, hey, if something goes on, here's my number, give me a call. And in the past, I would have been like, I'm not going to bother. I'm strong. I can do things on my own. I'm tough. I'm so tough. I can muscle through. I can make it. I don't need help. And I realized that if I didn't get help, this, what now seems like a very small little thing, I had built up in my head as being, oh, this could be career ending. I might need to just, not show up on Monday, because that's how deep down the rabbit hole of lower and lower emotional states, going from anger to complete depression almost, of just like, well, there's nothing for me to do here. Why even show up? So instead of letting it get down to that point, I reached out, called my manager, even though I was on vacation, and we had a good discussion, came up with some good strategies. And then I started asking other coworkers for help too. Like, hey, I've been on this program. This other guy, he's kind of new to it, and we're, trying to see eye to eye. If you ever notice, or if there's something where you see like, hey, this guy's trying to get one thing, Justin's trying to say another. If you can help connect the dots, would love it. And what really helped in doing that is, I haven't even technically gotten the help yet, but just by asking for the help, I've gotten the help. Is I feel like I'm not alone. I feel like there's other people that got my back that I can turn to. And that's all from seeing that even though when I was in the funk, I felt like it's 100% this other person's fault. It's that person's fault. It's my manager's fault for putting him on the project. It's the company's fault where I am. Like, woe is me. Woe is me. It's everybody's doing this to me. Once I realized, stop. I have the ability to respond in a way that makes this better for me and for those around me, because I wasn't just miserable. I was creating misery for this other person. I was creating misery for the other people on calls I was with. And I was causing misery for my wife. Like, what a dick was I being, just being unhappy. And she's fantastic, dragging me out to do activities I like to get out of my funk and start to get a little higher up in fantastic feelings so that I could have that clarity, that space to see what was actually true, that this wasn't being done to me. I was allowing this to happen. I was choosing this, and that it was as simple as choosing to see it differently and start doing different actions. And when you see that you are responsible for everything in your life, you have the power to do anything. And you have the power to have the career you want, the relationships you want, the health you want. So once you see that, you realize that anything in life is limitless. You're limitless. Now, you might be asking, like, well, specifically, how do I get things? And that's a fantastic place to be, because already you're taking control and you're asking the how do I, which is way more constructive than the why is it? Why is it like this? Why is it like this? You can ask it and get answers and answers, but it doesn't change what it is. If what it is not something you want, why isn't gonna help you get out of it. The how can I, what are the steps? That's what's going to get you to where you want to be from where you are now. And the fact that you're asking, how do I improve my career? How do I have a more fulfilling life? You're on the right step. And keep listening to this program. If you want to work with me one-on-one, or I'm working on a cool program to help engineers, and it can also be done in conjunction with their parents to get that first job, or maybe you already have a job or internship and you're wanting to get the next one, then send me a note, Justin at e-motionsengineering.com. Connect with me on Facebook at Emotions Engineering on Facebook. Make sure to like this podcast or love it, whatever it is in iTunes. Subscribe, find me on Facebook, and connect with me. Let me know what your challenges are, because help and realizing that you are able to respond, you are responsible for everything you want out of life, very empowering. And you don't have to do anything alone. You alone decide where you want to go, and then the world and me, we're here to help you out, get to where you want to go. All right, thanks everybody. Take care.